All right, we'll take questions. Coach.
Why was Causey the choice tonight, and what did you like about what he gave you?
I think he was a choice because, our hitters ranked him one of the toughest at-bats on our team. A lot of them ranked him the number one toughest at-bat on the team. He has started before. We knew he was fully capable of starting, but going into that tournament in Dallas, we saw the level of competition that was there, and we just wanted to win the first game that was in front of us. So in order to increase our chances to do so, we kind of really combined him and Russell the way we did, the two AJs, and it worked out well. And then from there, it was just where are the next most important innings, because it's probably him, with all due respect to the other guys, and some of those guys are showing that they can do some good things for us this year. But there was a lot of reasons why, but I think the coolest thing we had was going into a new weekend. He's a guy that the other players in the locker room are really fired up to play behind. Of course, Beam and Russell fit that category. Xander does as well. But in a short amount of time, he's got a lot of respect from our players.
Does this change your thinking for the season in terms of how you want to use him? Maybe like an Andrew Lindsay last year?
Well, I think, we could send him back out there in the eighth for sure. But trying to develop younger guys like Deloy, he did a really good job. Hundley was going to come in and I think throw better than he did the last time out. But the game gets cut short there. So a little bit of it was that, but also a lot of it was, we know Causey's, he's going to get his fill by the end of the year. So I think pacing him out a little bit. He'll start more games. He'll probably close a game somewhere. He'll probably throw in the middle somewhere if this is the type of team that we want it to be. And I think I said it to you all, but I definitely said it to the team. Drew Beam is the one guy that we really know is kind of solidified himself as a starter here for 3 years. It's his biggest strength. It's a strength of ours, coming to the park, knowing what we're going to get. And however many outs he can get us each weekend, everyone else needs to be available at the beginning, middle, or end of the game to get them for us.
I can go into numbers, and maybe they don't always tell the full story, but last season's numbers for Causey weren't maybe great. What did y'all see that made you think we're not really worried about that?
Well, I think it's a different look, and then you start to get to know people. I mean, it happens fast in the summer, but you get to know people, and the family, it's a really good family, and then also a good kid who made a good impression, and then you go to a guy like Drew Beam, who knows him real well, and that's who you can trust. I mean, he's one of us, and he knows what we like and what fits, and so when he kind of vouches for the guy and becomes a part of the recruiting experience, it really helps. And same thing with Robin. I didn't quite know how to take Robin the first time that we saw him, and there's a phone call was tough. In person's easy. You guys have visited with him, but phone's a little more tough with English being a second language. But when Cal Stark leads the way and tells you exactly what you're going to get, if you get the guy, it really, really helps. So it's slowly getting to be where it was when I was at my first job. I think for me and Coach E, Frank, Richard, whoever's recruiting the guy, our best recruiters have become our players. I mean, Reggie Crawford never stepped foot on this campus, but he's been great. He's been loyal to us, and he's forever a UConn Husky, but also a little bit of a Vol. The only reason we got that guy, who was probably the hottest name in the summer, was our players. I mean, he said that on the visit. We basically left him, to hang out with the players, and that's what kind of sealed the deal for us. So that has to do with Causey as well.
What have you seen from Dean Curley? Made his return to the lineup. Obviously had a home run, but defensively as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good arm, and I think more than anything, he wants to be out there. He doesn't necessarily wear it on his sleeve as loud as maybe some other guys have that have come through here, but he likes to compete and he likes to be out there. And he's so strong. He's kind of like KT and maybe some others I'm leaving out. He's just got to kind of get it on the barrel, and it'll go. He's shown that with his hits so far have been either extra base hits inside the park or over the fence, fortunately. And then I guess that strength carries over into the arm. It's, he first committed to a school at a young age as a pitcher. And so that arm strength has always been there. And I think as he develops as an infielder, he's already gotten better, but as he develops as an infielder, feet, glove, and arm are all going to be a pretty special combo.
Has Billy been pretty much what you've expected in terms of offensive production and the way you see him at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, we did not. I just come back to one of my answers in Dallas. I don't think came out the right way when he had either his first home run or whatever. But we had a lot of time in the hotel at Clemson because you can't take BP on the field, and we kind of were looking at stuff a bunch, and we did not like him being in that other lineup. So through scouting, we had really high expectations for what he and several other guys could do in that lineup, and they were so good defensively on the infield. We knew that team well, and they probably knew us well. So however high you would rate a guy as a threat, we saw him as that. And so now for us, you kind of cherish the fact that he's in our dugout, and you'll let other people sweat it. And of course, we're going to run into other versions of him that make us sweat. Kind of like, tonight. I think a big part of the game, first of all, if you're a true Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, you throw out a hello Newman to the guy, although you'd be smart not to make any wisecracks because he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow and is their leading hitter because he's such a good athlete. But the point I'm circling around is I think part of tonight with Billy and Dean and the other hitters was they saw how good this guy was on video, and then they saw the award that he won last week for his effort at Memphis. And then what really catches these kids' eyes, because they like to talk and they like to get on social media, a two-way guy is rare these days. It means you're pretty special and very athletic. So I think that led into the approach, and they did a good job against him, and did some more damage after that too.
When AJ was in here, he mentioned that first inning going 3 up, 3 down. It gave him a level of comfort. Just how much do you think that factors into a pitcher's performance for the night when they can start out so strong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on the level of these guys, but I was that guy. Result-based confidence is a real thing, and sometimes these kids are young, even though we tell them and they know they're prepared, they're kind of looking for permission to feel good about themselves. And that's not necessary when you've put in the amount of work he had. Like, he's as good as anyone we have in the weight room. Q will will answer that question the exact same way I do. And then you talk about his numbers weren't that great last year. Well, he's the type of kid that's just going to keep getting better and better each year. But at the same time, kid is a key phrase there, and he's being asked to do something new. So there'll be someone else like that too, and all they can do is trust the work they've put in and the preparation. And if they cheated the game and didn't prepare, then I don't know how confident they can be. But yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. Again, we told our hitters we're facing a guy who could pitch in the big leagues or an SEC level Friday starter. I don't know if that's fair to say. I know we like our league and are confident in our league. So we're going to need to do a good job against him. And then AJ Causey's first outing, you don't really know how it's going to go. And fortunate enough, it went very well.
You mentioned Lloyd. What did you see from him in the preseason and also to this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's early, so we'll see. And we kind of talked in the outfield. I don't know how cleanly I said it to our players, but there's a lot of reps. So it'll go good for some guys, and then there'll be another guy who's our best hitter, and that guy will maybe struggle a little bit, and it'll kind of go in cycles. And one guy will get his opportunity, or maybe a guy comes out of the lineup and he's got to wait a little bit till his next turn. But this thing kind of goes up and down. But if you go out there and compete the way D. Lloyd does, and it's one of the reasons he had success in high school, you throw every pitch with conviction like that, you kind of tilt the percentages in your favor for it to go well more times than not. And the cool thing about him, some other guys we've had in this program, in scrimmages, he always threw strikes. But he's one of those guys like a Redmond Walsh and some others we have where it probably goes better in games than it does in scrimmages because of the mentality. Having the right heart rate, having the right confidence, whatever it is, guys like Sean Hunley, I think, might have given, hopefully he's not listening, he might have gave up more hits in scrimmages than anybody I've ever been around. But I don't know that I'd be standing here, without Sean being a part of the program. So.
What's the latest on Ariel and his timeline in terms of being back?
Yeah, today was the first day he took pregame in and out with the guys, and he's been more and more active in pregame on the defensive end, but has been very limited with swinging the bat. So when he does come back, it's going to, swinging the bat, it's going to take a little more time for that. And then when he gets in there, it's probably going to be defense ahead of offense because of the injury. And then, I mean, he's always hit well, but skill set wise too, he's very gifted with the gloves. So need to get first where he's swinging, and then where he's playing, defense is probably going to be in front of offense if I could predict the future. So his time will come to step on the field sometime soon, which is exciting.
How difficult of a task will that be, given that you're probably looking at the start of SEC play?
I don't know. I don't see why you'd go to negative town. We got a nice win there. And there's a lot, the women's basketball squad won last night, and the night before the men's team won, so I don't know why we need to be negative. But it's always good to have options. And, there's enough food on the table for everybody to eat, I feel like. And at the end of the day, when our team can go to right field on our home field, sometimes it's left field at another, and you can win, everybody gets better, everyone gets more chances, there's more things coming. And for him in particular, being a freshman, I think he's going to have a storied career here, but it's starting out a little slower than any of us would have liked.
So you like Dalton, ending on a positive, you like Dalton Connect the other night in his dunk. I saw you on the baseline.
That was a different that was a different deal. I mean, it took Vol fans to make it happen, but anytime that guy touched the ball, there was electricity in the air, and I haven't seen that happen very much. But the cool thing was, once they adjusted, give you my little basketball talk. A lot of our points at the end were when they adjusted and tried to prevent him from scoring. He went to other guys. I mean, it's a fun group. It's a fun group. I could go all night, and you'd have to cut me off. So, but yeah, that was a special night. Vol fans helped make it happen, but that basketball team is a fun one, and I think they're built to make a run with the experience they have. If anyone's asking me.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.